And good morning. Today is Sunday. That means it's time for another weekend morning meeting. Just want to come on and say hi. How's everybody doing today? It's another beautiful day here. It's 2 degrees below zero last time I looked, and the wind chill was like 16 below. It's got bright sunshine out there, so it won't take long for it to warm up, but it's not supposed to warm up very much today. Just south of us here, we have snow going on, and it snowed most of the day just south of here. We had a few flurries yesterday, but nothing really much. So it's just another typical spring, winter, almost spring now day. Spring will be coming up here sooner than we expect. So it's just another great morning. Now, there's all kinds of weird things going on with my screens today. Things are in different places from what they're normally at. And it drives me nuts. There we go. I could move stuff around so I see things differently. Would be anything that people would notice other than myself. So I mentioned yesterday that I finally finished a 5 day fast, and it's a couple weeks before I did a 5 day fast, and the 1st of February I did a full 7 day fast, and I did some fasting in between. With that 7 day fast I did that I finished in the first week of February, I had some changes that happened to my body that it's actually pretty cool. And yeah, I've been on my carnivore diet now for 18 months, and I finally got signals that tell me you're full. Stop eating. You don't need anymore. That for me, that's been broken for a long time. Um, I used to track all my food. I tracked my calories from fat and my calories from protein so I could see that I was getting that 70, 80%. I think that helped me out tremendously to begin with. But my calorie intake would be anywhere from 2,000 calories to 4,500 to 5,000 calories. And I was still losing weight. I was still healing. I was still getting better. And it's really different when your body feels what's going on and you can start healing. For the first 18 months, 17 months, I never got a signal that told me, hey, you've got enough. You can stop eating. It just never happened for me. And after I did that 7 day fast, now I am getting to that point where body says, you're good. You don't have to eat anymore. So it's just an amazing feeling when your body starts doing stuff that it's supposed to do again. And because I used to be able to eat. I mean, I should have been a competitive eater because I could pound down food for many years, but I always kind of knew where to stop. I did track a lot of my food for since 2012 when I started working out and doing stuff like that. I started trying to get healthy back then, and I tracked food and I did all that kind of stuff. But now I just eat meat and eat fatty cuts of meat. But I just made sure I was getting 70% of my calories were coming from fat. And then after that 7 day fast, where I started getting the signal that told me that you're full and you don't have to eat anymore, it's been really cool. Here's an example. This was my dinner last night. That's a 18-ounce ribeye and 14 shrimp. And I was not able to finish that last night. That's a typical meal what I was eating before. One meal a day that filled me up and kept me full. That's my leftovers. I couldn't eat it. I only ate half the shrimp and about half of that steak. I wasn't able to finish this whole steak, and that to me that's very unusual. So, what did I do? Did I throw it away? No. This morning I made an omelet. Just 3 eggs, the shrimp, the steak cut up, diced up in there. What didn't fit on the inside got put on the outside, heated up. Absolutely delicious breakfast. So it was actually really cool because I never got those signals until I finished that week-long fast, and I was really amazed at getting those signals so that I recognize them. Finally getting that. Good morning, Uncle Willie. Hey, did you get a notification today? Because I checked that box on Rumble to notify people when I went live. So, did you actually get it today, or did Rumble not do that again? Morning, Rick. It's nice seeing you on Dr. Kiltz this morning. I was about to click on that link to join this morning, and I heard my granddaughter up moving around, and she came and sat with me. And we don't put her on YouTube, so I was gonna go on there and hang out with you guys. Oh, you got the notification, Rick? That's awesome. I know YouTube sometimes just doesn't notify people either when people go live. I've got that set on people that go live that I follow, like you. I have that sit on there. Most of the time, I get the notifications while I'm already in the live. It's just crazy. Hey, good morning, Bryce Biscuit. How you doing today? And Uncle Willie, no notifications on Rumble or YouTube. And you're subbed on YouTube also. See, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Give it about half an hour, and you'll probably get the notification that this channel went live. But the one on Rumble should have went out there because I put that on it, so that's frustrating. Yeah. Rick always has it live at the same time, and I do too. I set this one up specifically so I can watch Dr. Kiltz on Sundays. That's why I come on at 10 a.m. on Saturday and Sundays, so I can watch Dr. Kiltz. There's nothing like a little Kiltzy in the morning and his energy to get you going, because the guy's just full of energy. Bryce Biscuit got this time. Don't stress, YouTube does suck, but it's our suck. And I agree. It's just, it can be frustrating because, some people don't do a whole lot. The few times that they come on, they want to watch something, they subscribe to somebody, and then they don't ever hear from them again. And they're like, well, do they even do anything anymore? Well, they do, but YouTube just doesn't like to push that stuff out. And StreamYard's not any better with the way they set stuff up either. It's like right now, my name's on there on the bottom of the screen. I don't ever take that off, but if you notice a lot of my streams, I don't have it on there. Well, it's supposed to be. It just StreamYard just doesn't put it on there for whatever reason. Kiltz has energy that is infectious to a degree you can't imagine. And that's why I love watching Kiltzy, because he is like that. Good morning, Terry. How are you doing today? It's nice to see you here. That's the other thing, clicking on comments like this here. I went to click on Terry's comment right as Bride's Biscuits comment popped up, and that's the one that went up first. So, but yeah, Kilts is he just has so much energy, and he is very infectious with everything that he does. It's one of the reasons why I like watching him in the morning. Changing his time for the morning broadcast that he does, so it's on at 6 a.m. Eastern. Moved it to 5 a.m. Central, which puts me right at work when I get there. I do my morning work with Kilts in my ear, and Dr. Nelson and Alia and whoever the guest is. Most of the time, I listen to what they have to say. Sometimes I get a chirping in the comments and stuff. And I did a couple Sundays ago. I joined the Kilts broadcast. It's the only time I can do it because otherwise I'm at work. You getting snow again, Terry? Man, we had just a little bit here, not very much, but we do have the colder weather. Last time I looked at the weather, it was 2 below zero, and that's just a little chilly. It's not too bad, but we've got a bright sun out there right now. I've got the curtain in my office closed, otherwise I wouldn't be able to see the screens. Rick tries to catch Kilts live every morning. I do too. There's a lot of mornings where I actually don't get to read the comments and stuff like that because I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff going on in the morning when I first get to work. But it's nice to have it in your ear. Nice to listen to what's going on, and you can hear a lot of stuff there. Terry's been trying to fly back to Newfoundland since March 7th. Tomorrow morning is my third try. Wow. And today's the 15th. And you've been trying to go back for a week now? Dang. That's a long time. Where are you at right now? Are you still up in Canada? Or are you in the States somewhere? Ay, caramba, that's hot. That's my heated coffee mug, so it sits on a little warmer and stays hot. My my coffee yesterday got cold, so I remembered I needed to put that out there. While you're on Ontario, right? Bridesmaid says, as I mentioned, I want to push past 48 to 72 hours in April. Any thoughts or strategies on what may help? I experienced pretty strong hunger on the 48s and at the end. Yeah. I guess for me, Bryce Biscuits, the thing that worked best for me is I've always tried to have a really fatty meal as my last meal. I have that at night. It's my regular last meal, like at 6 o'clock at night. So when I finish, I go to bed at regular time. I get up, I go to work, and I don't have trouble fasting while I'm working and while I'm gone. I get past that first 24 hours. That's the hard part for me. So when I get home from work, it's been 24, 25 hours. Then I go back to bed. I wake up the next day, it's at 36 hours or so. And I feel so much better that way. And then one of the other things that I've learned too is if I'm going to do a 5-day fast, I plan for 7 because it helps me not to think about food as I'm coming to the end of my fast. This last one I did is 120 hours. I wanted to do a 7-day fast again, but I stopped it because I got cold and my hands went warm back up. That's why I ended at 120 hours. I wasn't hungry. I didn't need to stop. And I planned to go longer. And if I plan to go longer, then my mind doesn't start thinking about, okay, I got 6 more hours. And that's when that hunger for me strikes, is when I'm trying to plan what I'm going to eat at the end of my fast. So I always plan a little bit longer, and then if I have to break it, I break it. So plan for a 96 hour, plan for a 4 day fast, rice biscuit, and don't plan any food for the end of it until you're getting to the end of 96 hours. And if you can make it and the 96 hours, great. If you break it at 72, great. If you break it at 60, great. But for me, it's always been the thought of coming up at the end of my fast, and now I have to come up with what I'm going to eat. That's when I start getting hungry. I can cook for my wife throughout the whole fast, and it does not bother me. But what bothers me is when I'm planning to end my fast. May get some tornadoes today. That's not good. May get temperatures in the teens by Tuesday. Good old Kentucky weather, right? And for here, we're well. Last week we had. Let me pull this up here. Let me remove this picture. I was looking yesterday at stuff, and there was one point last week where here in North Dakota we had, it was like 6 or 7 different weather alerts at the same time. So here in North Dakota, in March, we had a severe thunderstorm warning, a blizzard warning, winter storm warning, winter weather advisory, high wind warning, and a red flag warning. All on the same day, different parts of the state. Yeah, Mother Nature's drunk. Somebody take that bottle away from her, because this is just crazy. And we did. We had winds up to 70 miles an hour. We had snow coming down in between rain and thunderstorms. So the weather is just kind of nuts right now. That's a good thing you have an apartment there. Yeah, that's always good to have if you're going to be someplace stuck. And Terry says it's Bryce visit. Terry's in for a long fast or whatever fast. You've been too comfortable here. Let your guard down. Uh, You'll try that and see if it works. You're disabled, so don't work. Have that consideration. That sucks. But you get into a routine, and that's what helps. So with extra fat, you might need ox bile, lipase again, no gallbladder. Maybe, maybe not. You're at, and that's okay. When I say a higher fat, I eat my ribeye, maybe with an extra pat of butter on it, so that I'm getting that 76 to 77% of my calories from fat right before I start my fast. I don't have chicken or well, I actually did this last one. I had pulled pork, I had a pork shoulder, but I also try to add extra fat into it just to make sure that I have that, so my body is good and seems to work. Snowed last Thursday, dropped to 31 degrees. Tuesday prior hit the 80s. Yeah, and that's a week ago. What did we have? We had temperatures hit the 60s here in North Dakota, where I'm at, and then a couple days later we had a blizzard. It's just crazy. And now this coming week, today it's supposed to be just in the teens. Tomorrow in the low 20s, and it jumps back up to the 50s and 60s for the rest of the week. Even our overnight low temperatures are above freezing, which is great, and it'll help out tremendously here. It's kind of what I want to see. I want to see the temperatures go up just a little bit so that I can get up with my vest and go do some walking outside, get some sunshine on my face. Still have to wear, get some sunshine in my eyes, and it'd be nice. Yeah. And that's one thing. I had some dental work done here this last week, and dental work sucks. It really does, no matter what you say or do. But just the feeling is different in my mouth now because of the dental work that I had. Bridesmaids don't like to add fat or butter normally. Even stop using MCT probably would heal regardless, but would likely stall weight loss. It has in the past. You want to continue 1.5 to 2 pounds a month. It depends upon what the fat is that you're having. It can have a effect on your weight loss and everything like that. So I really haven't noticed a difference with the MCT oil with anything that I've done, whether it's ketone production, weight loss, anything. I've taken the MCT oils. I really didn't notice anything different. But to help it fast, and it's to help get through that first period where the craving is, where the hunger, until your ghrelin signal stops. Once that ghrelin signal stops, then fasting is easy after that. At least that's what I found. Yeah, try to eat the fat that comes with the meat. And if you are able to, when you go to a butcher and ask for a ribeye or whatever, ask them not to trim the fat off. Sometimes we have a butcher shop down the road here that if you want, they'll cut them to your specification and then they'll trim them. But if you want like an inch and a half or 2 inch thick steak, you can tell them that and then tell them and don't trim fat, leave the fat on it, and they will. You're going to pay a little bit more because fat does add weight to it, but then you get all that good stuff. Yeah, MCT is supposed to be a ketone hack, and but you didn't measure it. Just glucose. Yeah. No, see, I actually have the Dr. Boz MCT oil, and I tried it and I didn't see any difference with my ketones going up, no more than they normally would. So I didn't really see a hack in that. I didn't really see a great benefit in it. Even when I do like sardines, I don't have that big jump in ketones that so many people have when they eat sardines. I don't get it. My body is just different. Maybe I will after a time, but right now I don't. Yeah, you eat the fat cap on meat whenever you get it. That is, it is so nice to have. I know some of the ribeyes, if you do that, there's some parts of that fat that is just not very well. It's a texture issue for the fat. Terry, I thought of MCT, but second guessing because my meat cuts have enough fats. Yeah, yeah, I got that right. Yeah, and if you're getting enough natural fat from the meat that you're eating, you really don't need to have the MCT oil. But it's nice to be able to. The MCT oil, what it's supposed to do, your ketones, the beta hydroxybutyrate ketones, are made from the MCT oil. And if you have more of that available, it's supposed to be able to produce ketones quicker. I didn't see that happening when I was doing that. It just didn't work for me. Oh, you be careful driving because texting and driving sucks. You bought the bougie MC8 stuff. They're supposed to be there's between the 8, 10, and 12. The 8 and 10 MC2 oil are supposed to be the better of the oils. And yeah, the MCT8 is supposed to be pretty good. Did I see the Thomas Delore video this morning about don't eat sardines? No, I did not. I have to take a look at that. I'm going to take a screenshot so I can look that up later. Jojo used the MCT8. And hey, by the way, good morning, Jojo. It's nice to see you here again this morning. You bought the MCT back during your keto days. You still have the ball. And I've tried putting the MCT oil. I've taken the gel caps that Dr. Boz that she has. I've tried cutting them open and putting them in my coffee. I've tried different things to see if I can raise my ketones using that, and I haven't seen any difference in it when I've used the MCT oil. And it could just be me. You know, most people have good signals for when they're full and when they're not. I don't. A lot of my hormones are still out of whack from 50 plus years of eating bad, eating all the garbage that I did. And I didn't get signals for being full until last month. Now, there are other things out there that you can use. They do have salts that you can use. They also have exogenous ketone drinks. I've seen a whole bunch of different ones. Ketone IQ is one of them. And that was actually developed on a military contract. I've looked into these things. Anything to help elevate my ketones to a point when I'm first starting a fast, kickstart it. I've looked into stuff like that. I've looked into the salts. I've looked into the liquid shots and stuff like that. Do I trust them? I'm not really sure. But, I tried the MCT oil. MCT oil didn't work for me. Bryce Biscuits, you dipped on the lawyer. Get mixed feelings with his messaging. He seems learned. You don't follow too many big influencers, though. I read and I listen to him to a point. I've never listened to Thomas the Lawyer, but I'm going to take a listen to the sardine one just to see what he's talking about. Jojo says feel the same way about Thomas. Yeah. Okay, Thomas the Lawyer, and why did I just lose his name? He's another doctor that, he's on X all the time. Now it's going to bug me because I just blanked on his name, but I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to them because of the way their information changes and the way it changes and stuff like that. I just have issues with some of the stuff that they're doing. What the heck is his name? I see him on X all the time. All right, guys. Who's the doctor that went back to eating fruits and stuff and then pushing his supplements? What the heck was his name? I can't find. I'm looking here on X real quick to see if he pops up on it because he always pops up on my feed. Anybody look at Robert Sykes at all? And he has the keto bricks, something similar to the carnivore bar. Nah, not Dr. Berg. Yeah, the surfer. You know who I'm talking about. But Robert Sykes, he's the founder of the Keto Brick. Yeah, Paul Saladino. That's the guy. Sometimes he has some good information, and sometimes he's just a moron. But Paul Saladino, he sometimes has good information and sometimes he doesn't. And it seems like it goes from day to day, different ways. Uncle Willie got the answer for me. Yeah, Rice Biscuit said the surfer. So it's really tough sometimes. And you see Bride's Biscuit, exogenous ketones. Yes, they are expensive. It's like the ketone IQ. It's if you go to a coffee shop and get a large coffee, what do you pay? I don't know. I don't really go there, so I don't know what you pay for. It's like $5 to $7 for a coffee. A shot of ketone IQ is about $5 a shot. And it's like I know it's bigger than the 5 hour energy, and a 5 hour energy is only like an ounce or an ounce and a half, so it's like a 2 ounce shot. But it's $5 a shot. That's expensive. But does it work? I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll find out. I have found out that they do sell ketone IQ at our local Target. Not individually, but they sell them as the what are they, 6 packs, and they're like $30 to get 6 of them, so $5 a shot. You feel delirious, get lost in the sauce. Yeah. Terry says I've jumped into buying supplements like creatine and collagen. We hear so much about them, but haven't committed to them. I agree with you, Terry. There are some of them that seem to be decent, but how do you really know? I don't. And I I have a hard time trusting that we're getting what we're supposed to get. Yeah, you respect him understanding wanting to understand the nuance. The Boz wouldn't like his video because he's bashing on the sardines. Yeah. Oh, Hawaii guy. Yep. No, not Dr. Berg, the surfer. Saladino was it? Nah, yes, it's JoJo. And that's it's a lot of what's going on with that is we get a lot of good information from these guys, but sometimes those guys change. Like Saladino was a huge proponent for the carnivore diet, but I don't think he was eating the right foods for him and for his body style with what he does. And that's why he had to go back to eating the fruits and stuff, is because he wasn't eating enough and he wasn't eating the right type of foods. And I think that was another doctor that was talking about Saladino and how he may have just not been eating the proper way for what he did. Or Paul Salad. I don't know as Bart calls Paul Salad. Bart's got some really original information, and you stop watching Saladino. I follow him on Twitter, and his content in the last year has changed again as to the way he puts information out. He's still doing some other weird stuff, but a lot of the content he puts out there is actually not bad. You could probably eat spoons of honey and snack on papaya if you serve 16 hours a day, right? And would it be good for you still? Probably not. Yeah, I saw Jojo wants to know. Did I see where Sean Baker asked Chatbot GPT, "What do you look like as a vegan?" Yeah, that was a huge difference on what it made him look like a little skinny runt. And Terry says there's too much information out there, and I've been overwhelmed with it, so I had to pull in and remove a lot of it. And that is true. There's a lot of stuff that goes on out there that it's really hard to separate what's real and what's not. It's one of the reasons why I stuck to a handful of people when I first started researching the carnivore diet. Dr. Berry was one of them. Dr. Berry was one of the main first ones I found, and Dr. Baker, um, Anthony Chafee. Those three, I went through so much of their content and their information that they have, and then I found Dr. Tony Hampton. Dr. Tony Hampton is an obesity doctor, and he was talking about this style of eating and this type of a lifestyle. And I was extremely obese. So I actually listened a lot to what Dr. Hampton had to say because he was making a lot of sense to me. And being an obesity doctor, going through the information that he does just really resonated with me. And then Dr. Siwas and Berg and Westman, people like that. There's a lot of good information out there. Bart K calls him Dr. Salad. I don't know who Bart K is. Yeah, I watched Bart K really get people, and it's a really good shtick that he's got going on. It's kind of funny. Does it work? Is a $64,000 question, which is what that protocol would really cost, right? Maybe you have to take too many supplements, you're not doing something right. It's like the vegan diet. Yeah, you can be healthy on the vegan diet, but you have to supplement animal fat into your diet because you have to have animal fat in a diet. You have to. And there's no way to get some vitamins without an animal fat. Yeah, you stopped following Thomas DeLauer when he said that fat will cause type 2 diabetes? Yep. Animal fats won't. Saturated fats from an animal won't cause type 2 diabetes. That's been my experience. Now, I'm not a doctor. I didn't stay in Holiday Express last night, but I'm not a doctor either. There's an identified cyclical pattern of adding carbs back in on social media. And it does drive engagement, but there's that to consider. And there is. You have people that are adding carbs back in that have been doing this for a while. And they're trying to see what works and what doesn't. The whole purpose of the carnivore diet is to get your body metabolically healthy again. Why do we need to become metabolically healthy? Well, because we got lied to for the last 50 years about what our diet should be. We've been consuming carbohydrates that our bodies were never meant to consume 365 days a year. The carbohydrates that we're consuming are only supposed to be consumed when the carbohydrate plant is seasonally available. If it's not available off a vine or off a tree, you shouldn't be eating it. Now, does that mean that I'm going to try fruits and vegetables this year? Probably not. I don't really care for them. I never really liked them to begin with. So, no, I don't plan to. I played with some Christmas cookies and stuff this last year for my mom, and I did not like the way I felt when I did that. My body did not like what happened. My wife did it a little bit longer than me, and she got really sick. She's still paying the price for it. In March, her blood sugars got elevated again because she got put on prednisone, a steroid, and that jacked her blood sugars up, and her blood sugars haven't completely recovered from that yet. So it hasn't been worth it. Terry, I want to see an HRT outfit to help with some hormone depletion. I got the third degree when I said that I was animal based. Walked out after 5 minutes. Yeah. A lot of doctors don't like having you on a animal-based diet. And you can't really blame them because this is what they're being taught in their schooling. They're being taught that animal-based diets are bad. They're being taught that you have to have carbohydrates, you have to have fiber, you have to have all this stuff. And when you get a disease, you don't treat the disease, you treat the symptom. Because if you treated the disease, you would cut out the carbohydrates. Simple. But there's no money in that. And the places that are doing the educational material for the doctors, the nurses, the nutritionists, and stuff, they're the ones that are profiting from the medicines that are being sold. They're the ones that are profiting from the carbohydrates being consumed. And they're the ones that are providing the educational material to our healthcare. Stupid. I see bride's biscuits, metabolic state, BMI, age, activity of salad. I don't know, probably mitigates much of the glycation of cells now. Yeah, probably. You love Dr. Hampton. He is amazing. I love watching all of his videos every day. Supplements may help accelerate healing, eating, living healthy, will work ultimately without them. Supplements, if they're consumed properly, yeah. Again, you really have to watch what is being put into them. Michaela added carbs back in. I respect and trust her reasons, just to heal and share. Michaela Peterson took her, 7 or 8 years of a lion diet before she was able to add carbs back in. She apparently enjoys them, and she had mold toxicity was one of her big issues, and that's really helped a lot. And if she wants to eat carbohydrates, more power to her. But I personally don't plan on eating any of them because I haven't found one that appeals to me. Uncle Willie said I had a craving for popcorn last night. Had about 2,000 calories of fat instead. Was down a pound this morning from yesterday. That was a good choice, Uncle Willie. Now, that is one of my, okay, that is a carb that I do have trouble with because I do like popcorn too. And when you get popcorn, it's always cooked in a seed oil and it has that fake butter that's a seed oil on it too. I guess for most people, the carnivore diet is a challenge. It is a challenge for a lot of people, Rick. A lot of people can't handle not having that variety. I guess for me, having variety, I do have variety. I have steak, I have shrimp, I have steak and shrimp, or I just have steak. I have burgers, I have omelets. I can. This is my variety. Going from that to this, that's a variety. That's different foods to me. You know, that's a variety. It's the same food. It's just in different ways of eating it, and that helped me to go from looking like this big fat guy here to looking like that. You know, I'm down 140 pounds, over 140 pounds from my heaviest. I'm down over 130 pounds since I started my carnivore giant journey here, and it's been amazing for me. A big influencer, health-based channels look at more closely when evaluating value for me, especially if they're selling all sorts of. I take everything I'm seeing from big influencers with a grain of salt. Like Dr. Berry now has supplements out there that he's doing infomercials basically for. Am I going to try them? Probably not, because I'd rather just eat a piece of liver and get the benefit of eating liver. don't mind liver. It's one of the things that I actually do like. Jojo, I did a 3-day sardine fast a couple of weeks ago, wondering if that did something. Well, sardine fasts are actually pretty good. Um, I've done a few of the sardine fasts here recently. Aaron, the Carnivore guy, is doing reviews on different types of sardines, and he's done a few sardine fasts that he's put on his channel. Check out the average carnivore guy and see check out his videos. He's got some pretty good ones out there for his sardine fast. What doctors do I follow in regards to obesity? Dr. Tony Hampton. He is one of the best doctors I've seen out there for obesity. It's what his specialty is, or he's a family medicine with obesity. And he has so much good information. And he's located in Chicago. It'd be really cool to stop by sometime and just pop in and thank him for everything he's done. He's done so much for me for all the videos that he puts out. Because he doesn't just talk about obesity, he talks about all the metabolic health and healing that you get while you're on this type of a diet. And he's got some really good stuff out there. But even Anthony Chafee, Dr. Chafee is really good. Baker, watching Sean Baker do his workouts. Sean Baker has two channels. He's got the Dr. Sean Baker, and then he's got Dr. Sean Baker podcast. And I watch both. He's got some really good out there. So, but also Dr. Berg. Dr. Berg is more of a ketogenic diet, and same with Dr. Cybus. Robert Cybus, he's the metabolic. What does he call himself? Yeah, he gives himself a fancy name. I can't remember what it's called anymore. But they all have great channels, and they have a lot of good information in there. Dr. Cybus does push the ketone IQ. I don't know if he's got some stake in that company or not, but he does push. That's the first place I learned about those from. The variety that influencer consumption in a land of abundance is cultural reality today. Yeah, I'm having difficulty reading and speaking, and that's my reality. It's been changing for the worse over at least a century, and our that could actually get me into a political talk right there. But and then there's marketing. Yeah, marketing is, you can't trust marketing because marketing will lie to you. Westman and Hampton are obesity go-tos. Yes, Westman is really good. Berg is really good too. They all have a lot of good information. Berg and Westman are more keto. Of course, Dr. Boz for fasting. She has some great information in there. Dr. Jason Fung for fasting. I've learned so much from him. A non-doctor for fasting, if you want to look up somebody, is Jerome at Finally Fasting on YouTube. He got demonetized, and they didn't tell him why. He doesn't give out medical advice. He just goes over fasting, and they demonetized him the other day. So he's doing a lot of stuff through his Patron channel and stuff like that instead now. You were thinking about joining a Chafee group? Dr. Chafee's got some good information out there. Nothing wrong with going into a community like that. Has anyone had their TSH go up on carnivore? Mine went from 10. And doctor wants me on med, but I ordered natural supplement, been carnivore 20 months. I would talk to a carnivore doctor, Jojo. I know there are things specifically with the TSH and being on carnivore in the way that they look at it, and I would talk to a doctor that knows about the carnivore diet before I do anything. The carb addiction doctor, that's what it is. Dr. Robert Sayos, the carb addiction doctor. I could not remember. Yep, for Sayos. And Dr. Berry pushes ancestral supplements, liver capsules, glucose iodine, and electrolytes. As far as I know, he isn't paid. Yeah, I don't know if he's paid or not. The ancestral supplements, if I feel like I need the ancestral supplement like that, I'll just go eat some liver or some heart, spleen. That I don't mind eating organ meats. They don't bother me. I'm not squeamish like that, and I can do it. Hey, good morning, Brian. How are you doing today? It's nice seeing you here this morning. Yep. Bryce basically took Dr. Westman's carnivore course. It was informative and very reasonably priced. I didn't know Westman did a carnivore course. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. Good morning, John. How are you today? It's nice seeing you here. If you guys haven't looked at it, John has a great channel. He shares his carnivore experience through music. Amazing songs that John has on his channel. Check them out. Dr. Berry admitted to supplement companies wanting to use his name for tens of millions of dollars, and he's refused. Well, that's good. He could make a lot of money. He's actually got a huge following and a huge community. Ooh, that coffee's good still. It's nice having that warmer because it stays hot. Good morning, Aaron. See, this is Aaron, the carnivore guy. Was it Terry that was asking about, or Jojo asking about the sardines? Uh, Aaron's doing the review on the sardines. Check out his channel. You didn't see the notification this morning, Aaron? Some people did, some people didn't. Uncle Willie's on Rumble, and I set that up on Rumble to push the notification, and never got pushed out there either. Bryce says did a full thyroid panel, Jojo. T3, T4, TSH, ATP, ATG, TPO, reverse T3, free T3, free T4. There can be a lot going on there. And some of those numbers will change as you're healing. And it's one of the things that I've learned here in the last few months is you have to look at those in a different way when you're on carnivore and when your body is healing. Because some of those numbers are going to change and go up. And that actually is a good sign where the medication that they're giving you is trying to change those numbers down. But you want it to go up because that's what makes the other things that you want. And I can't remember if it's the TSH that makes the T4 or T3 or whatever it is. There is stuff in there that if it goes up, doctors see it and they want you to take a pill to get it to go down. But in order to get the rest of your markers right, you need that up there. So I highly recommend finding a good doctor that knows carnivore and letting them look at your numbers, because maybe your numbers that your doctor is looking at, he's looking at them in a way that is from a carb-based diet. That's not right, especially when you're not carb-based. Yeah, same here, Terry. I didn't know Westman had a course. I'm gonna have to take a look at it. I know. Actually, did I know he had a course? I don't think so. There are a lot of these doctors do have courses out there, and you can look at them. Dr. Kiltz has his Kiltz Health Coaching. Dr. Berry has a health coach. Dr. Berry's is actually pretty expensive compared to Kiltz. Kiltz made his affordable, and it's a 12 lesson program. So it's actually not too bad. I'd be interested in taking a look at Westman. I'm going to have to look at that up when I see that today. Yeah, good to hear us about Dr. Berry. I agree because Dr. Berry is actually he's a good guy. And a lot of stuff that he's doing to help people because of all the bad advice he gave to everybody before he learned what he's learned. And now he's trying to make up for it and be good. Get a good PCP or endo to help also. That's invaluable. Many don't fully understand, and they don't. There's a different set of rules, different set of numbers that your body wants if you are eating an animal-based diet than a carbohydrate-based diet. For the last 70 or 50 years, we've been on a high carbohydrate-based diet. So all the information that has been learned in the last 50 years has been geared to that. Brian's taking Dr. Fung's fasting master class at the what? Dr. Fung's got a fasting master class? Take a screenshot of that, so I'm gonna look into that one too. Aaron just did your first review yesterday. We'll probably make them shorts in the future. Yeah, I watched that review this morning. I started it yesterday and I got interrupted. I ended up finished watching it this morning. Mind change all the time. Patterns over time will tell a bigger story. And that's true. You can't go off of just that one snapshot. You need to go off of several different ones to see what your body is actually doing. And Dr. Berry was the first person Aaron started following years ago. He's one of the first ones I started watching. He's one of the first doctors I found on YouTube. The first person I saw on anything about the carnivore diet was Carnivore Ray. And he's the one that got me to start looking into it. And then I was watching Carnivore Joe. He's a Canadian. I think he's a doctor up there. But he does stuff on TikTok too. That's the first person I saw. First two. Dr. Berry famously declined in health initially, taking his own advice he was taught. Yes. And that's when he got overweight and couldn't lose it and was on the verge of becoming a diabetic. And he looked at what he was telling his patients and he was doing it himself and it wasn't getting any better. That's when he realized that the information that he'd been giving out for years was wrong. And that's when he started changing. Yes, Dr. Fung is great. The OG fasting master. Yes, he is. I've learned a lot from Dr. Fung. Hey, Brian, you get the Dr. Fung book? The Hunger Code? Michaela and Kelly Hogan were your intro to carnivore. Dr. Berry later on. Yeah, see, I didn't find Michaela or Kelly or Jordan Peterson. I didn't find any of them until much later. I mean, I watched through so many different videos. I spent 2.5 months just going through Dr. Berry's channel. And then Dr. Chafee, Tony Hampton, Sean Baker. I spent 2.5 months going through their channels before I even started doing my carnivore diet. I had a wealth of information and a wealth of knowledge, and I was still really stupid. I still didn't know enough. I still don't. I'm still learning stuff every day, watching stuff on YouTube, going into chats and talking with people, reading the information that everybody's putting out there because there's so much out there that is so available to everybody now. You love how Dr. Berry learned from clinical experience and the signal he tracked, right? And Dr. Berry's he's very open about what happened with him and why he's doing what he's doing. And that's one of the things I like about Dr. Berry. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He just tells you as it is. You start with Dr. Berry as well, Terry. You can't see the chat. That's because we're on different Terry and who else here? Um, there's a couple people that are sitting here on the other stream. I can actually change this here and I can show the comments right there. That way you can see it because they're on the vertical and then the regular full screen is what you're on. So different people on different areas. It actually came up Dr. Stan Ekberg in the beginning as well. Oh, you came up on Stan Ekberg. You didn't see him much these days. I've heard of Ekberg, but I've never actually seen anything on YouTube with him. Yeah, there's two streams, one for mobile and one for computer. So that's Thomas Delaire as we or whoever, however you spell it. Yeah, that's another one. We were talking about him earlier. He lost 70 pounds on low fat, but my mental health suffered and he looks sickly. High fat is better. Absolutely, Uncle Willie. I did the same thing back in 2012 to 2016. I did the Beachbody workouts. I followed their uh, low fat, high plant diets, very little meat and stuff. I did that for 4 years and I ended up having heart surgery. I did lose weight. I lost 80 pounds working out 6 days a week. And one day I went to do a workout and I wore a chest strap so I could monitor my heart rate and everything. And I couldn't find my pulse. It wouldn't register. I mean, I could feel it on my wrist, but when I had the chest strap on, I couldn't get a pulse. It wouldn't read it because it was so erratic. Ended up going into the ER, told them what was going on, and they asked if I had any tightness or shortness of breath. And well, it was springtime, so I'm always short of breath, and that's why I told them, I said, well, I have allergies, and I'm always short of breath, but I can't get a pulse, and I was short of breath, so it was. Have you ever been to an ER on a busy Saturday and had to wait for hours and hours and hours for to be seen? If you go in there and tell them that you're short of breath, you can't get a pulse on your chest strap that you're getting ready to work out on, and your chest feels tight, you'll be on a gurney in a matter of a few seconds with all kinds of crap hooked up to you. And yeah, I was within 5 minutes of checking in, I was diagnosed as being an AFib. And my heart rate was going everywhere from like 25 to 160. And it was just all over the place. It was just crazy. And that's what I got when I was doing the plant-based diet. Ekberg is a doctor that also was an Olympic athlete. Yep, I get you. Hey, John, how are you doing this morning? Did I ask Rick how his free trip and free lunch was? You know, John, you really should be a nicer person. But I don't think you can be. So we'll just remove you. You can come on here and talk to me and stuff, but don't come on here and harass people that are in the comments. It's not something I'm going to be putting up with. So we'll just remove you and you won't be able to come back into this channel again. And the jealous X shows up. Right? Well, I did remove him. I did ban him. I won't see him again. There's no reason to come in here and attack anybody that's in the comments. If you want to talk to me like that, that's fine, but leave the people that are here alone. At least he has a hobby. He's got a hobby as a troll. Somebody let him out from under the bridge, let the bridge float out to sea. Right? Your eyes are finally starting to open. Yes, sir. I can't imagine going through life like that. It is sad, isn't it, Brian? But that's what he is. He's just a sad person. Cosmic gesture. Good morning. You like being removed for funsies and not because of annoying. I like being removed for making a point and proving somebody wrong about something. And then they get pissy and they not welcome back anymore because you don't help them in any way. Let's see, OMED last night. Uncle Charlie, good morning. OMED last night, you had 1 pound of grass fed beef, 12 ounces of bacon. Awesome. 4 eggs, 6 yolk, but for lunch, you had some bacon, hard boiled eggs, and still a good night. That sounds like a great way to be eating there, Uncle Charlie. You were removed once accidentally cap locking. Brutal, as Larry said. Cap locking is shouting. So, Uncle Charlie, this is what I had last night. I cooked up a beautiful ribeye, 16 ounce, actually, it's 18 ounce ribeye. And I cooked that up last night for dinner, 14 shrimp, but I was not able to finish it. I had about half of it left over. So I'm finally getting that signal that tells me you're full. You hear, like Dr. Barry says this all the time: eat until you're comfortably stuffed. Eat until the meat doesn't taste good. Up until last month, I didn't get that signal. I could eat and eat and eat. So I don't, yeah, I just don't have that. Last month, when I finished my 7 day fast, I started getting that signal now. So now I get the signal that says, hey, you're full. This tasted really bland. And I've got the flaky molten salt on it. I have a seasoning on here that I absolutely love. Same with the shrimp. I've got Carnivore Chef's Carnivore Companion Gator Bite seasoning on the shrimp. And that stuff has got a nice taste to it. It's really good. And I didn't care for it. It was no longer something I wanted to eat. And I was like, this is amazing. So, what do you do when that happens? Well, you save it for the next morning, you make it into an omelet. That's a good way to do it. That's what I like. Uh, that's where we were. You ban people for 15 seconds all the time because it's fun. Yeah. Put them in a timeout. Oh, and Uncle Charlie, of course. Butter. Yeah. Do I have a link to send pictures to? You know, I do have that same thing that Larry has. I've never tried to do that, and I'm not even sure if I'm logged in on this computer with it. So I might have to look at that and see if I can do that. Me, I am 59 years old. I started this my carnivore journey when I was 57. All through 58, I ate carnivore and into 59, and I've never felt better in my life. Carnivore Quest canceled the morning meeting. You're bummed out. I think he just changed it to 5 o'clock. Yesterday morning, he didn't have his meeting, and because I was looking for it, I like the meetings. I like going to them. They help so much. I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, he just changed his live to 5 o'clock Central or 6 o'clock Eastern. So we're still having a meeting with Larry today. It's just going to be later. Touch the tip of your ring finger to the thumb on both hands and tell me. Touch the tip of your ring finger with your thumb on both hands and tell me I can't. If you can breathe better. No, let's not. What's the point of that? John said I had a portion of my food for a year before my leptin signals came back. I It took a long time for my leptin signals to come in. 18 months before, or 17 months before I started getting that signal to tell me that I was full. I tracked, when I first started my carnivore diet, I tracked stuff religiously because I don't get that signal. And it's just one of the things I had to do just to make sure that I was getting proper nutrition and making sure I was eating enough. Jester says, I hate that I have to go to a totally separate store for the possibility of getting actual wild caught shrimp. Yeah, wild caught shrimp is wild caught shrimp, wild caught salmon, any wild caught fish is better than any farm raised. Um, if you look at the difference between a farm raised salmon and a wild caught salmon in the store, you can see the thickness of the fillet and the color of it is totally different. The wild caught has such a vibrant color compared to the farm raised one. The color of the meat is from a dye on the farm raised one, not from the actual food that they're eating. Bridesmaids talking to Comic Jester. Your daughters refused or blocked them and report them just for fun. Did not teach them that. Next level trolling, though. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Uncle Charlie. I've done a lot in the last 18 months. My body has changed so much. When I was doing my insanity workouts, I did them 6 days a week. I worked out with Shanti 6 days a week for 4 years. I got down to 212 pounds and I looked a lot different, even at that, than what I do now. And my wife tells me that I was at 212 pounds doing the insanity. I looked sickly. And she says, just didn't look good on me. So, being the weight I am now on carnivore, my body feels great. And I look a lot different, look a lot better. Yeah. Grade 8. Yeah. Yes, Larry is a great guy. He's got a great community. He's done just being part of that morning meeting every morning is a tremendous benefit. It interfered. My work is interfering with that morning meeting now. He changed the time, so it's right when I'm supposed to be in a meeting. So I don't get to go into the Monday through or Wednesday through Friday now. Well, sometimes I will, sometimes I won't, depending upon how long my meeting lasts. Sometimes that meeting I'm in lasts a long time, and I don't ever get to get out of it. Seems like looks like looks good 100%. If I overeat, you get sick, and it's 2 hour laying down. I do the best with 2 times a day. Gastric bypass surgery changed everything. It saved your life, but it came with its own problems. Yeah, and for some people, that gastric bypass is a lifesaver, and some people need to do it. I know Kip Moore, he's getting ready to do that, and if that's what it takes for him to actually get the weight off, it's going to be worth it for him. If he sticks with a carnivore style diet, once he does that, I think he'll be much better off in life. Yeah, Larry is great. He's got a great community. He's done a great job, and it's been very inspiring for so many of them. That guy Rick is awesome. Very smart people should not troll anybody like that. It's not nice. That is true. You know, I enjoy Rick's lives. I enjoy his content. He's got some really good stuff. I no longer recommended it with all the options we have now. Oh, you're talking about the surgeries? Some people still need it, Brian. Kip has tried and tried, and it's not working for him. And he's got other things that he needs to do. What kind of work do I do for a living? I can tell you I'm a production manager in a factory. That's about as far as I can go with that because of the way my work works. So I'm a I'm in management. Spend a lot of times at a desk in meetings, but I also spend time on the floor doing stuff with people out there making our products. It looked marvelous, so I appreciate that, Brian Biscuit. Uncle Charlie, you're at 325, now 180. A1C was 18, now 5. In hospital, 10 days, ICU, 5 days, fatty, heart, liver, kidney, pancreas. Didn't work. They wanted to know how I'm still alive. Is that when you were 325 pounds and your A1C was at 15? Yeah, that's, I was 347 pounds at the heaviest that I was ever on a scale. I had high blood pressure. I was on 5 different blood pressure medications. I wasn't doing good. And this way of eating has changed my life for the better. Aaron had the TGE gastric bypass 15 years ago. And how would your life have changed 15 years ago, Aaron, that if after your gastric bypass 15 years ago, you'd found the carnivore diet then? How do you think your life would have changed? Would that have made a difference in how your body healed and what happened afterwards? It's what I think Kip needs to do is to stay on the carnivore or keto diet and pay attention to what his body's doing. You notice this week that your man boobs are gone. That means your hormones are starting to straighten out. That is a great sign when that changes. I, I've been noticing the same thing that mine are almost all gone, and it's actually an amazing feeling to be able to look in the mirror and not laugh at yourself because you've got man boobs. Doctor said you will be on insulin for life, and she was wrong. That's absolutely true, Charlie. You can get off of insulin if you eat properly. The doctors they're taught now that you can't come off of it because that's what they're being taught. The companies that are providing that training are the ones that are making us sick. And they're the ones that are profiting from you being on insulin. So why would they tell you that you can get off it by changing your diet? It doesn't help them at all. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep their profit. Are you talking about Kip? Kip is getting a gastric bypass surgery or a band or whatever it is, so that he can lose weight and not continue the way he's been doing stuff. He's gotten frustrated with his results on carnivore and his inability to stick with it. So he's actually going to have a surgery to try to get better like that. Breaking fast in kitchen now, preparing food, listening, and headset. I wanted to say thanks again, Lance. Peace, family, and enjoy your Sundays. You too, Bryce Biscuit. You have a great day. It's always a pleasure having you in here. Seeing John, he started at 367 pounds. Now he's at 190. 12 years keto, 1 year carnivore. He reverses type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, heart disease after a 5x bypass. No glasses needed anymore, and mental clarity improving every day. And that's just the start of it. There are so many things that have happened to him in the meantime, also, that you run out of room on these chats to be able to put that information in there because so much changes. Yeah, and Aaron says if he knew what he if he knew then what he knows now, it would have changed. It would be a lot different. And it's true. It really helps when you know the right way to do something. Like we know now what the carnivore diet can do for you. Kip knows it. I think Kip's going to do a great after he has his surgery because he knows how to eat and he knows what to eat. Brian says, I wish him the best. It is a tool you have to take care of. Yep. You have to fix your head first. He'll be okay if he sticks to carnivore. And that's true. If he sticks to carnivore, he will be okay. And that's one of the big things that he has to do is be able to stick to it. Let's see. If someone knows, if anyone knows someone who's set to get stomach for weight loss, tell them don't get it because they can't gain weight back. You know someone who did it, let them try GLP-1 and the carnivore diet. There's several people that I've talked to in these communities. Aaron is one of them that had the surgery. Teresa is another one, and there's a couple other people I've talked to that I know, and they've all had the same issues where they gained their weight back. I got to pour me some more coffee here. They gained weight back, but they the overall consensus is that it helped them at the time. And with the struggle that Kip is having, I think I'd rather have him do the surgery that he's having than do a GLP-1. There are so many things that the GLP-1 it's just not for everybody. And it is a short-term thing. Tell Kip, don't do a GLP-1, Zepbound. It depends upon how it's used. I've read so much more about the GLP-1s and the combo drugs out there. There's a new one out that's coming out. It's got 3 different things in it. And I would rather not do that. You can control your GLP-1s better through your diet than you can through the medications. My wife was on a GLP-1. She used Ozempic for her type 2 diabetes for just 5 weeks. And she did not like it at all the way she felt on it. John says, my wife pokes my chest, keeps saying, your muscles are back. Yep. You're on your laptop now, Brian. You can see me. Oh yeah, you went off the vertical stream. I see that. I did a video a while ago about your journey and went into gastric bypass. I was thinking of doing one specific to the surgery. You should, Aaron. You know, let people know what your journey has been and how it's affected you and what carnivore has done for you also. You have told many people no diet, pill, or surgery will work if you don't get to the root cause. And that's a big thing with people is they need to know the root cause. They need to get their eating down right. And it's the food out there right now is so addicting and it's meant to be addicting. That's why there's so much sugar and so many things. Can you go and find a clean bratwurst out there made by a company that doesn't have some type of sugar? Whether it's actual sugar or dextrose or something that is a sugar in it. You can find stuff out there that's sugar free because it's addicting. It's what people want to taste. And John said, I see a study that reported that 95% of people going back to the original weight, you're at 190 now, and it's hard to maintain that weight. than it is to actually lose the weight. Even on the carnivore diet, John, that's that's interesting because I do want to get down to that same weight. I want to get down to 190. That's my goal weight because I don't want to go into my doctor's office again and tell him out that weight. So I can go in there, step on a scale, and still be under 200 pounds clothed. So my doctor can see that what I've done worked. I came off of 5 blood pressure medications. I've come off of an allergy medication I've been taking for 30 years. My mood's improved, my allergies improved, my weight has dropped, and it had nothing to do with anything that my doctor wanted to do. My doctor helped me come off of my blood pressure medications. I told her I was eating a carnivore diet, just meat, no plants. She didn't like that. She told me it wasn't good for me. Well, the diet that she wants me on is what put me at a high weight. So I want to go back to the doctor at a time and look at her and say, hey, this works because it does. It helps people where that standard American diet that we were taught to eat was a ad campaign. There's no science behind it, nothing. So why would we do it? You hear people all the time say, well, show me the study that shows the carnivore diet is good for you. Show me the study that shows the standard American diet is good for you. They've been studying it for the last 50 years now, and what do we have? We have the highest obesity rate ever. We have more diabetes than ever. We have more autoimmune diseases than ever. Tell me that's not our diet. It is. And it's not good for us. So we need to do something different. That's what I think. Yeah, that was an amazing shout out that John Carnivore Teacher Alpha did for you. He is amazing. He has some amazing videos himself. John, and for some reason I cannot say his name. It just doesn't want to come off of my tongue. But John did a great job shouting out John Together Strong. And you do deserve it, man. You've got some great videos. You got some great music out there, and it's very strong information that you put out there. You've got great tune, great music, and when you listen to the words and you understand what you're talking about, it's very informative, and it's I like them. I like your videos. I like the way you do stuff out there. It's actually pretty cool. Terry says, I don't preach no more. I do what I need to do for myself because nobody wants to listen. And at some point, people do stop listening, but they don't stop watching. And at some time, somebody's going to come up to you and say, hey, tell me more about what you're doing. And then you can tell them. I've had to do the same thing. I come on here and I talk, but when I'm out and about, I don't do that anymore because yeah, I don't preach. The body remembers the higher weight and wants to get back there again. It's called the body set point, and you can reset that, John. And there are ways to do it. I'm trying to figure out how to reset mine because my body keeps wanting to go back up to that 220 point. You know, one of the reasons why I'm doing my fast like I'm doing, I'm trying to get my body to reset the set point lower. My low weight the other day was 205. I want I want to try to get to my reset point that my body wants to go back to is like 215 or 210 so that it doesn't fluctuate so much. Because I'm fine being under 220 pounds or being at 220. I felt great. My body was good and I had no issues. So if that's where my body wants to end up going back to, I'm actually pretty good with that. But I still want to get down into that 190 area just for a little bit. And if my body wants to go back up a little bit, I'm good with it. Yeah, 100% John. Brian says, when I first started, this time you wanted to get to 180, but now you just want to be healthy. If it's at 180, 160, 220, you'll be happy. You just want to be healthy. Absolutely, Brian. And like I said, between here and 225, I'm actually good with that. My body enjoyed, I don't mind being in there. My body looks good. I feel good. I have enough fat that I can fast on if I want to, and I can reset myself. I've been fasting a lot more this winter than I did last winter. I just started fasting last winter. This winter, I fasted a lot more. When the cold and flu season came, I started fasting 24 to 48 hours and cycling it like that so that I kept hitting that reset point for my immunity. I haven't been sick this winter. I've had some teeth issues, but I haven't been sick. And generally, I get a cold in sometime in September, and I don't stop getting colds until April, and then I get allergies. Well, my allergies were all year round, so it never really stopped for me. But I haven't had issues with that in the last year. I haven't had a cold this year, which is crazy. John, 13 years of being on low carb diet, one way or another. Now, one person has asked you for advice. Really? That's crazy because you've had great success on it. Benny, hello all, new here, new self. Nice to see you, Benny. So, are you doing a carnivore diet or a ketogenic diet? And thank you for subbing, and let us know in the comments. That's what this morning meeting is for. Is it runs off the comments, uh, and we talk to each other like this here, and it's a great way to learn through people who are doing it. Brian says he loves fasting. Yeah, I like fasting. Fasting has helped me so much and helped to reset so much of my stuff. I credit the 7-day fast with resetting my leptin signal that I hadn't had for a long time because I never got to the point where my body said that meat doesn't taste good. You're full. Brian says, hi, Benny. So does John. Benny, 1 year, 25 days carnivore and still learning. Absolutely. And I tell you, it's been a game changer for me. It's been so nice to have community like this here. Um, you'll see some of these people that are in my comments now. A lot of us hang out in another group too, and that's Carnivore Quest. If you haven't looked up Carnivore Quest, Larry and Cassie, they have a great group every morning or Wednesday through Sunday now that they do the same thing. And there are other groups out there. Dr. Kiltz in the morning, he has Monday through Friday at first thing in the morning, 6 a.m. Eastern. Let's see, Carnivore Teacher Alpha has a live on Monday afternoons and at noon on Sundays. There's a lot of people that have channels out here. John Together Strong has a channel. He does stuff through music. He's got some great music that shares his carnivore story. Aaron, the carnivore guy, he's got a channel and he goes through stuff. Come on in. Don't be shy in the chat. Terry says, welcome. Uncle Charlie, you built a cold plunge tank out of 300-gallon horse trough. Tank's 40 degrees, water for through that. I don't know if I could do that, Uncle Charlie. I know that activates like the brown fat burning and stuff like that, and it actually helps that cold, kicks your ketones up too, and drops your glucose. It does a lot of good for you. I don't know if I could do that. Uncle Charlie says they love Larry. Yep. Are you talking about Larry? He has been struggling. So you do go into the Carnivore Quest. That's awesome. I hope he gets it locked down too. I worry about him whenever he misses meetings like he did yesterday. I know he's been sick. He hasn't been feeling good. But I always get worried that he's gonna go off on a tangent when he misses meetings like that. He really needs the strength and community and the support to continue doing what he's doing. Brian, me and Terry hang out everywhere. Yeah, you guys do. I see you guys all over the place. And Rick is still here. Good morning again, Rick. Big storm going on down there now. Yeah, we've had some pretty good storms go through here. I think I showed that. I showed this earlier. This is in just one day where we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different weather warnings going on through the state, everywhere from thunderstorms to blizzards, all in one day. That's just crazy. John says now that leptin and ghrelin is straightened out, you don't have to think about fasting. It just comes normally without thinking about it. On that, and that's great. I haven't had troubles with my ghrelin. When I start a fast, I have so much to begin with for hunger, and once I get to that 24 to 36 hour mark, ghrelin goes quiet. It's the leptin that I've had trouble with where I don't get the signal that says that I'm full. And that just started last month. It's been about a month now I've had it, and it's been pretty cool. Now I understand more on what Dr. Berry says when he says to eat until you're comfortably stuffed and your body tells you that the steak doesn't taste good anymore. So, because that's what happened last night. I had a beautiful ribeye and shrimp, and I left that much of it. I can't eat anymore. Yeah, ignore my granddaughter's stuff behind me. She comes over and takes over the house. So that's what I had for dinner last night, and the leftovers got made into an omelet this morning. Got steak and shrimp on the inside, steak and shrimp on the outside. Absolutely delicious. And let me move that one and remove this one. I did some looking here while I was listening to Dr. Kiltz this morning, and making you. Terry says I'm making somebody hungry. But that's okay. I don't mind. I figured out some body fat. Oh no, where did it go? Oh, that screenshot didn't work. This is a screenshot, shows the body fat calculator from where I started my carnivore diet at. Yeah, that was actually really good. Benny honestly missed the full stomach of carbs, but don't miss the inflammation and the farting. Yeah, that's a big difference on how your body feels when you're not eating those carbs. So I started carnivore diet at I was 57 years old, 335 pounds, 6'3". My neck was 19 and a half inches, and my stomach was actually bigger than this here, so I don't know what the actual size was. The tape measure I have only goes to 60 inches, and that's 5 feet. And that gave me 44% body fat. And according to that, my BMI is 47. And if you put in my weight and height and stuff like that for the BMI. That comes out differently if you use a BMI calculator. The other one I had tried doing was just a what my body fat is now. And that one, when I did a screenshot, didn't take. It's just a blank on there. So let me figure this out. So I'm 59 years old now. My weight's 205, 6'3". My neck, when I measured it the other day, was 16.25 inches. So it's 1 foot, 4.25 inches. My waist was 35 inches around my belly button on the biggest part of my waist. And that gives me a completely different look on what my body is. So now let me see if that worked. There it is. Yeah, see, the other one just comes up as a weird picture. It doesn't actually show it on there. That's my new body fat. This puts me at 14.9% body fat, or in a low part of the fitness range, almost into the athlete range. And I don't work out, but that's where my body is right now. So my gives me a 28.1% BMI. Body fat information on there is, it's actually pretty cool. Brian says the PhD has had wonderful side effects. Proper human diet has had wonderful side effects. It has brought me friends that I would have never had a chance to meet. My tribes have helped to make it possible for you. 100%. Yep. And there are so many different places out there too. I enjoy my time that I spend in the Kiltz Mighty tribe with Dr. Kiltz and Dr. Nelson and Alia and Rick and all you guys on here that I see that go through the same places that I do. But I also like going into Bella's community. Bella has some great information. Dr. Barry has great information. There are so many different people out there, like Larry and Cassie. There are just so many different areas out there to go into. You know, listening to Carnivore Teacher Alpha, Juliet Edens, and so many other smaller channels that give great information and help so many people. John says, I'm working on a music video now. It's called Metalbotic Gangsters, the biggest project that you've done yet. Be looking forward to seeing that when it comes out. That's pretty cool. John's got some great videos out there. Listen to them. I've enjoyed listening to it. Even I played for my son and his girlfriend the other day. The first thing she says, "Ooh, that's a nice beat. I like that." So, and they're young, so they like your music too, John. All right. Well, I've been on babbling here for the last hour and 45 minutes. Coming up, we do have some more carnivore stuff coming up here in just a minute. Charlie wants to know, have you heard of a channel called Snake Diet that calls Anthony Chafee Tits and Ken Berry? Yeah, I've heard of it, and I don't really pay attention to that stuff. It's just clickbait trying to make themselves feel better. Yep, Carnivore Sunday School. That's coming up here in just a few minutes. I know Juliet's on that. John Lestina is on that. Carnivore Teacher Alpha, Torch, and who else is on that? I can't remember. But that's coming up here in just a few minutes. There's such great knowledge out there. You just have to listen. And if you listen, you will hear. That is true. You have to keep your. There's some people out there that are going to give you some BS, but most of the time, people, if you listen, you'll find out the truth from them. But you have to listen. You too, Aaron. You enjoy your day. You have a great weekend. And let's see. I'm going to put this up here. I want to put this in the chat. So there. And Brian says, have a great day. You too, Brian. For everybody, have a great day. And this should be a clickable link in the chat for the upcoming episode for the Carnivore Sunday School. You can listen to that and see what they got going on. Julia, John, and Lauren this morning at 1 p.m. Eastern or 12 Central, which is coming up here in just a few minutes. Next Saturday, I'll be back here at 10 a.m. Yeah, hope to see you all here. You guys have a great day and have a great week. We'll see you in the